Welcome back. We were talking about living organisms and adaptations. Now, different habitat like a desert or a mountain or aquatic habitat, the plants and animals there have different adaptations. For example, if you take a desert, the camels have long legs, so their body is very much above the surface of the soil of the desert. So they are saved from the heat of the soil. Likewise, they have flat feet, so they can walk on the sand without sinking. They have a capacity to hold water inside their body. They don't urinate or they don't perspire or their even dung is dry. So water is not wasted by a camel. That is one adaptation. Another adaptation, if you look at the rats or the snakes, they cannot live on the surface of the earth which is very hot. The soil is very hot in the desert. So they live in the burrows deep inside the surface of the earth where it is not this hot. And then what they do during night when it is cool, they come out of the burrow to the surface to see whether they can get some food. This is another adaptation according to the habitat by the animals. Take the case of plants. The cactus plant, there are no leaves. There are some desert plants which have spines. There are some desert plants which don't have a flat surface but which are very thorny. This is to avoid evaporation of water. The leaf sends out water in the form of water vapor into the atmosphere. So the desert plants have less leaf or small leaf or thorny leaf or leaves with spines. And cactus has no leaf. What you see as a fleshy portion is actually the stem. The stem has the chlorophyll. Stem prepares the food. Stem stores the water. And then the roots of the desert plants are very long. They go deep into the earth. So these are the adaptations of the plants in desert. Let us look at mountain. In mountain, what happens is there will be mostly lot of rainfall and sometimes snowfall. So the plants the trees are conical in shape. So whatever falls on them, the water or the rain or the snow will fall down. The leaves are very sharp and pointed. The plant, the tree or the shrub itself is cone shaped and the branches are sloping. The branches are sloping so that the snow and water will fall down. When we look at the animals, the animals are, for example, the mountain goat has the capacity to climb up the mountain on the slopes. That's the capacity of the mountain goat. And then sometimes the climate there is cold and windy. So because of the cold and windy climate, what happens is, for example, take the case of a snow leopard. The snow leopard has a fur. It keeps it warm. The color of the snow leopard's fur is so similar to the snow so that in the environment you cannot find it out. Take a case of a yak. Yak is an animal that you see in the mountainous forest. It has a thick hairy skin, so it does not suffer the cold climate, chill or winter, etc. So these are the adaptations in mountain. Let us look at grasslands. In grasslands, you have animals like lion as well as animals like deer. What is special? The deer can run fast to save itself from the predator. What is a predator? What is a prey? When a lion or a tiger is killing an animal like a goat or a deer to eat, the animal that is killed is called the prey. The food is called the prey. So the goat or deer is called the prey. The animal that kills, the carnivorous animal which is stronger and which kills the other animal is called the predator. The lion or the tiger is called the predator. So the lions have the skin color which is similar to the sand of that place. Lions have eyes in the front so that they can focus to see where the prey is. They have very strong limbs so they can give a thrashing or they can beat the animal and kill it. They have paws on their hands which go in when they walk, but when they are trying to attack an animal, the claw comes out and it will tear the skin of the prey and it facilitates to eat. The incisors or the teeth is also sharp and claw-like so that they can eat the muscles of other animals. So these are the adaptations of a lion. They can run fast, they are very heavy, they can hit, they have claws, their eyes are focused, their skin is color of the mud so that they can camouflage. Look at the deer. Deer is also almost brownish color. Deer has strong legs to run fast. Deer has long ears to hear where the predator is coming from so it doesn't become a prey. Deer can run. So these are the advantages of deer. The eyes of the deer are on the side, so it can see in all the 360 direction as to from where the lion or the tiger is coming, so that they can escape. But for the lion, the requirement is not to escape, but requirement is to focus so that they can hit. So the eyes are in the front. These are some of the adaptations of the animals in grassland. Now let us have a look at some other adaptation. We will have a look at aquatic animals. Aquatic is in water. Aquatic habitat is water related, lakes, water, sea and all. Marine animals have a streamlined body for easy swimming. But squid and octopus live near the seabed. They don't have streamlined body. But when the octopus is trying to swim, or when the squid is trying to swim, they make their body streamlined to make it easy to swim. Streamlined is the head and tail will be thin and the middle portion of the body will be thick so that they can cut through the water. Another adaptation is they have gills which help in breathing, that is to absorb the oxygen dissolved in water. What about dolphins and whales? Dolphins and whales have something called a nostril. Their nostril is called blowhole. Nostril is nose, the hole of the nose. It's called a blowhole. It is at the tip of their head. So what the dolphins and whale do is they come to the surface of the earth, suck in the air from the atmosphere and then go and breathe. So every now and then they have to come to the surface, dolphins and whales. These are how they breathe. Take a case of a frog. The frog breathes using their skin. Frog also has a lungs to breathe when they are on the land. What are the other adaptations of these animals? The duck or the goose, they have a webbed feet so that they can wade in the water. Then they have a crane or other birds have a long leg through which they stand on the paddy field looking for the fish or something. These are the adaptations of the animals for water. Then there are aquatic plants. There are certain aquatic plants which are fully submerged in water. So even though they are in water 24 hours into 7 days a week, they don't get damaged by that water. They have a special skin. So there are certain aquatic. There are certain other aquatic plants whose roots function is not to absorb water because they are already in water. So the roots don't go deep, but the roots are the role of anchoring, that is holding firmly on the soil. And then they have a thin, long stem which brings the other parts of the plant to the surface. For example, lotus or water lily. And then the other parts of the plant are floating on the surface of the water. They have thin, long, slender stems. Most of the stems and the branches of the water plants are very light and flexible. So when the water moves here and there, they also move so that they don't bend or break. So these are the features of the plants and animals of the aquatic habitat. What are the characteristics of living things? So we have seen that there are different types of physical features of the land, that is mountain, land, desert, plains, valleys, oceans, etc. We have also seen there are different types of plants and different types of animals. They have different characteristics. They adapt differently so that though animals are sometimes similar or sometimes different, in different climate, different environment, different habitat, they live differently. Now plants and animals are called biotic, while the soil, heat, light, all these things are called abiotic. The characteristics of living things are they can move from place to place. But train moves, it is not a living thing. And the living things grow in size. But balloon also grows, cloud also grows, they are not living things. Living things need food for energy. The car also needs petrol for energy to run, but they are not living things. Then living things need to breathe. Living things need to breathe. That means what? Inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. This is called respiration. Living things respond to stimuli. Respond to stimuli means what? When I prick you with a small needle which is sharp, you take your hand away. When you see a snake, you run away. When you go near, a pigeon flies away. This is respond to stimuli, automatically react. But then, if you look at the plants, sunflower turns towards the side of the sun. This is one movement of the plant as a response to stimuli. Wherever there is sun, it moves. Another response to stimuli. During night, when the moon is there, some flowers will bloom. But during sun, when sun is there, flowers will not bloom. This is another type of response to stimuli by the plants. When you touch a mimosa plant or touch me not, it shrinks. That is another movement by the plants. Reproduction. Reproduction means giving birth to. Some animals or birds lay eggs. Some animals give birth to the young ones called mammals. This is reproduction. Plants reproduce mostly by seed. That is, plants have a flower, then a fruit. Inside the fruit there is a seed. The seed grows on another plant. Now what happens? Certain plants don't reproduce from the seeds. Certain plants reproduce by some other way. For example, rose plant, its reproduction is by cutting. So you cut a rose plant branch and plant it, another rose plant will come. Then potato. Potato is from the buds. The potato is the food stored in the root. and then on that they have buds, and then when you put a potato bud, it will grow into a plant. So this is the way plants are reproducing. Now regarding food, the most important thing is plants make their own food, while animals depend upon other plants and other animals for their food. So this is the characteristics of living things. The most important characteristic is the question, what are living things? Living things are the ones that have life. What is life? Life is mainly respiration. Many living things require food. Most of them respond. Most of them respond to stimuli. All of them reproduce. All these are there. The common trait of plants and animals is that they are born and they die. From the seed, a plant is born, and then ultimately at some point the tree dies. From an egg, a bird is hatched, and then after some time the bird dies. So these are the common characteristics of all living things. But a seed, which is in the shop kept by the shopkeeper, which is in the bottle or container at your home, also is a living thing. The rice, the wheat that you have, all these things are living things actually. They don't move, they don't respond, they don't do grow, they don't do anything. But then when the abiotic factors like suitable sunlight, suitable amount of water, air, dampness, heat, all those things come together, the seed sprouts, germinates, and then you can see it growing, responding, showing movement, that is the roots go towards the water, shoots go towards the sunlight. All this happen. But the seed, when it is kept just like that, also respiration is happening. That is, it inhales and exhales. So this is what we call as a sign of life. So we shall agree, respiration is life. Anyway, life is beautiful. Thanks for watching this video on organisms, living organisms, science.